Welcome to the Radio Cult Wine, the radio show where we bring, no, it's not a radio show, but please let me do like that. It's a show where we bring cult wines to your home, where we talk about the wines that made into history. Why? Because for a reason or another, whether because they are utterly delicious or because they did change the course of history in winemaking, we are going to talk about them. So, Radio Cult Wine Show. Follow us, subscribe to my YouTube channel, get on my Instagram, Filippo Bartolotta, and let's get going. So guys, you know what I'm going to talk about today? Do you really want to know what I'm going to talk about today? First of all, I put my ass in the wrong position, so I'm just going to change like that. Second, today we're talking about Merlot. Do you know what Merlot is? Merlot is considered to be one of those supple, smooth, round, velvet, cheeky, seductive, metrosexual, I don't know if I can say that, but I said it, overly like a groomed variety that can make any wine into something that is easy to understand. That's one way to talk about Merlot. What is the other way to talk about Merlot? Well, it's to talk about something that has got structure, intensity, length, elegance, and longevity. So you might be asking right now, so which one is it really? Well, it is both. Why? If you go on the right bank on La Rive Droite de la Gironde, you will find, which is like the big estuary. Do you see estuary? Man, I should have checked my English before. Like, when two rivers blend and then they get onto the ocean. We are in Bordeaux. We are in Pomerol and Saint-Emilion, and that is where Merlot is the main variety. Or is it really? Well, it's always in match with Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon. But so what happened? There is one wine. Its name is Chateau Petrus. Say it with me. Chateau Petrus. Well, this wine is 100% Merlot. It's a wine that on average is sold for $2,000 a bottle on release. On release, I'm saying. Imagine when the wine gets into the market, just gonna go spike up in the price. So what happens? It happens that in Tuscany, after the arrival of Sassicaia, go check my episode on Sassicaia. You can learn all about it. What happened was that other wineries started to create international variety wines. And so it's the case with Merlot. The first 100% Merlot in Tuscany, maybe in Italy, as in a fine wine is L'Apparita. L'Apparita is a single vineyard Merlot that comes from Chianti Classico. I know you're confused right now. So you're saying, wait a minute. In Chianti Classico they make Merlot? Yes, they do. And they call it, this is like a Super Tuscan style wine. Go check the episode on Super Tuscan style wines. But here is the winery. The winery is Castello di Ama. It's a beautiful borgo. It's a bunch of houses from the medieval times. That's when this little village was put together. And is maybe Europe or maybe the world's largest contemporary art exhibition in situ, which means when the artists go to the place and they invent something like in the Renaissance that belongs to that place. Lorenzo Sebasti and Marco Pallanti are the two owners of this place, and this is the wine. So 2017 is the vintage, and let's crack the bottle open, and while I'm opening the bottle, I'll tell you about the history of this magical vino. Magical vino was put together, so 70 hectares more or less in terms of vines, but L'Apparita is only 3.84 hectares. You say like, oh, you're very specific. Yes, I am very specific because every berry every count. When you make Merlot, it's really difficult to have production because Merlot is kind of like stingy production. It's an early budding variety, which is why everyone loves it because it's a, let's face it, it's a check in the pocket of the winemaker. But only if you're using Merlot to make sure that you're gonna have some sort of production. Imagine that you are the 20th of July, so very early, and then you have to wait another month before the other varieties, in this case Sangioveses, the king of the Tuscan varieties, are ready, and you have Merlot ready a month before that. So in case more like storms or cold weather sets in, you are fine with Merlot. Merlot in Tuscany, like everywhere else, is the same as in Bordeaux, needs clay because it's a variety that suffers the heat, and so you need a cool soil. And in Castello di Ama, you are over 500 meters above the sea level, so quite high for Tuscany. And you have a super clay compacted soil over the millions of years. Marco Pallanti is a winemaker. 1985. Why am I talking about 1985? That's when Marco started off making this wine for the first time. Oh. Now, please, ladies and gentlemen, I would like a moment of silence to wait the pouring of Apparita 2017, which is not in the market yet. Generous pour, I know. Look at this. I don't know if you can see the color well, but this is purple. It's purple, purple, purple. It's not like a red ruby like we read everywhere. This is purple, almost like black inky driven. It looks like wild berries. So that's funny. That's fun. What's funny about Tuscan Merlots is that you do have that chocolate and cedarwood edge, but always together with some Tuscan bites. What is it? Like, for instance, some licorice, some violets, some underbrush, like some earthiness. That's what it is. Some nice Mediterranean herbs and earth. That's on my mind palace what I got to begin with. Beautiful. 2017 was really, really, really hot, but because we were 500 meters, Marco managed to produce something that is not stewed at all, which is what you don't want in fine wine. You know what it is with fine wines? Oh my God, the acidity. Unexpected, to be honest. 2017 has been really hot, and you can tell that there is ripe fruit. It's all about the prunes, black-driven character, but there's lots of dribbling acidity that makes the wine very refreshing. So kudos to Marco. I like the wine. You can expect a little bit of tannic structure right now. It needs some time to develop, but these tannins are sweet. Okay, guys, so when we talk about structure, don't be afraid. Like, these big wines need to have big structure, but these are sweet and velvet tannins, so they are fine tannins. One last thing that I'm gonna mention about L'Apparita, Vigna L'Apparita, is the fact that in 1992 there was a blind tasting, when you put the wines and you don't know what you're tasting, with some of the greatest som and technicians like winemakers, and they were tasting wines together with Petrus and all the famous wines that I mentioned before. Guess who got first? First as in people that knew what they were talking about and general public. The average scores got this wine with a 1987 vintage as the best Merlot in the planet. This was a kind of a 1976 Judgment of Paris moment, with the difference that it was in Zurich and it was about Merlot. So that's when Merlot started to become big. Well, guys, I think I said it all about L'Apparita, Castello di Ama, 2017. What can I say? How, some people have been asking me, and please put down your comments down, how were the other vintages? Well, recently you had 15 and 16 were two of the greatest vintages ever. So what can you say? Maybe climate change has brought a lot of problems around the world, not when it comes to this kind of like high hills vineyards. Every year has been pretty much a good year. And this is all from the Radio Cult Wine Show from Filippo Bartolotta. Thank you very much, guys, for following me. Please sign up on my YouTube channel and check me out on the next episode.